The Earnestly Speaking podcast is a show that is founded on free-flowing conversation and may at times venture into mature subjects. Listener discretion is advised.
Yeah, Earnestly Speaking podcast. Let's get it. I'm a giant in New York, in Miami carry heat. So much more in store, my product can flood the street. Opinion Nation Godfather, CEO. Huff in the late 90s, gon' see me blow. Oh. Got my hustle on, no imitation of that. Army of untouchables, Opinion Nation staff. Never an off season, homie, check the numbers. Heart throb in my own right, supplying southern comfort. Earnestly speaking, my ego is well fed. Earnestly speaking, you're too evil and no threat. See, I'm like a hurricane, you're a mild breeze. Earnestly speaking, leaving Eli a dynasty. Shake!
Earnestly Podcast, coming to you, recording this Tuesday, September 23rd, 2025, just after noon. The kids are home from school today. It's a holiday or something. I don't know what the hell's today, but the kids are not in school today. And then apparently not in school next Friday also, too. Like, all these damn days off already? Like, bro, back in my day, that's like an old man on the lawn guy, but back in my day, my black ass was in school almost every day. There's very few holidays we had back in the day. Like, we had, like, obviously the usual, the Christmas, Thanksgiving, a random, and by the way, it was random, teacher planning day and all that, but we never, my kids are home way more than usual from school due to whatever it is. I don't know. These made up holidays now. I don't know what the fuck's going on, bro. Like, seriously. But they're home today. And so we're gonna record this podcast quick, and I'm gonna go take them out to go skating. Again, this podcast you can subscribe to on any podcast catcher on the audio side, such as Google Pod, Apple Music, Spotify. I almost always say Stitcher Radio, even though I already know Stitcher's out of business. What's wrong with me, bro? What is wrong with me? Of course, on the video side, guys, especially this, if you got YouTube, I'm sure everybody's on YouTube now, YouTube page at youtube.com/@Earnest Christian, Earnest Speaking, Earnest Speak Pod. Earnest Speak Pod, right? That's the number. We changed it like last year. Also, if you want clips of the show, TikTok at Earnest Speak Pod, as well as Instagram and at Earnest Speak Pod. But I have to get something off my chest before we get to some of these things. For example, I am pissed off at WWE and ESPN. I'll tell you what in a second. My week 3 takeaways in the NFL, it was a wacky week in the NFL. Rumors about a possible Adele or Taylor Swift performing at this upcoming Super Bowl halftime show. I got a lot to say about that. And then we have a Jimmy Kimmel update on that saga of Jimmy Kimmel, who got suspended from ABC last week for his comments about the Charlie Kirk situation. There's been an update as of yesterday. We'll get to that in just a second. But I got to tell you, and this is a more personal situation that while I'm reacting to this, but this really is the overall generalization of society today. I'm not someone that's in this toxic masculinity thing, and people live your life, do what you want to do. Let's not harm anybody. As long as you're paying your bills, and you don't affect me, my bills, and I don't care. Don't harm anybody, okay, bro? But I think society has gotten completely soft. People are just soft. People don't want to have conversations anymore. People are just want to. This is the problem I have with people today in today's society. People want to be heard, but don't want to hear. Let me say that again, because you guys didn't understand what I said there. People want to be heard, but those same person who want to be heard, people want to be heard, also don't want to hear. So they're willing to put out what they want to put out, okay? Social media, any form of a platform. But when it comes to just having a conversation, without attacking you, people can't hack it. They just can't hack it. So I had a situation with a follower on Instagram. No longer a follower anymore. A mutual follower. We weren't friends at all. We didn't really know each other, honestly. We mutual follow on Instagram, and this person put out a thing, a face on Instagram, some story. I said story on there And it was a video of, I think it was Zakaria, the dude from CNN. I can't remember his name off the top of my head because I'm really like trying to get through this thing. But he was interviewing Hillary Clinton, and Hillary, and talking about Hillary Clinton, talking about the Charlie Kirk situation, censorship, and all that good stuff, whatever. Jimmy Kimmel, all that. And the person put a comment attached to the video saying, this is why, this kind of, not I can't say verbatim, obviously, but basically being critical of the left and what they've done and the Democratic Party as a whole. And this person is, I guess, a lefty. It was a lefty. Now she's kind of like in the middle, whatever. Actually, it's a female, for the record. And for the record, I was not disagreeing with her at all, what she was saying. But I added to the conversation saying that, let me look up the entire conversation here so I can get more context here. All right, I found I'm going to read this verbatim, so because it gets it gets more in the weeds there. So I basically responded to her saying that I don't have an issue. I don't think most people had an issue him getting shit canned. We're talking about Jimmy Kimmel getting canned from ABC Disney. Which way we'll cover that in a second, on the show. Quite frankly, I thought Jimmy Kimmel sucked. Probably the worst late night host in the history of television. Everyone's graph has to do whether the government interfered in this, which looks like, in fact, the administration did apply pressure. If you believe in the Constitution verbatim, that should bother you. She replies, his views sucked. It did bother me when a man got killed because of a different opinion, and the government had nothing to do with that. It bothers me that someone not in politics couldn't make laws or get rid of them, was a target someone and then eventually killed. So no, this doesn't bother me. Like I said, you are free speech. You have free speech. You are not free of consequences. And that is what Jimmy Kimmel's example of. Don't disagree. Again, the only issue I said in this was that as long as the government was not involved, which, by the way, we're seeing, obviously, she's wrong. The government was involved because the FCC is an arm of the government. Okay, Brendan Carr is the arm of the Trump administration. So you can't sit there and say that. So she's wrong, for the record. She's in her feelings. She continues. Jimmy Kimmel based all of his politics. Jimmy Kimmel based all of his questions on politics, brought Trump administration into his nightly routine. That's weird. He lost his viewership because probably more than half his viewers were Republicans. It's not anyone's fault that many people like yourself believe what the liberal media feed you. And that's what the issue is. And if you believe in the Constitution, that should bother you. Hold on. The liberal media, and you don't even know me, first off. So, first off, most of my algorithm, is actually skewed to the right, actually, to be honest, quite frankly. This is what I told her. And I responded to her, like, basically saying that Kimmel didn't do any favors by addressing it in the first place. It was idiotic. Free speech, yes, but you're putting stuff in a crossroads, especially given the climate, like he has to read a fucking room. Also, I responded, and she probably got offended by this. I said, it's a little unfair to assume I believe in the liberal media and what they feed me. I'm not even a liberal. In fact, most of my social media algorithms swing conservative, to be perfectly honest. She gets in her feelings. And look, again, I'm having a conversation. We're not debating. We're not even debating anything. We're having a conversation. And all I'm saying is that it's unfair to say that, the liberal media feeding me, as though you know what my algorithm looks like or what I listen to or what I watch. And by the way, the head of the FCC, Brendan Carr, was on a conservative show, Benny Johnson's show, in fact, who's a massive MAGA supporter, massive Trump guy. So you're fucking wrong on that one. She continues, bro, I'm not debating this. If what I post bothers you, kindly delete me. Again, who said the post didn't bother me? I'm actually agreeing with you. That's the thing. You're looking for to fight for the sake of fighting. I'm looking for opinions. I don't know you and I never met you, nor do I care about what your viewpoints are. Okay, fine, but you post your things. So you again, people want to be heard, but don't want people to hear back from them. She's an example of this. Okay, if you are approached in an unbiased way, without attacking what I'm posting, constantly thinking I'm wrong, then maybe I'd be open to having a mature conversation. Again, who said you're wrong? Who said you're wrong? Nobody said you're wrong. We're having a conversation. In fact, I'm actually agreeing with you. You know what I'm saying? You're the last thought in my head, but based on everything you have responded to my post, you definitely more liberal. You clearly don't know me, because if you know my people who in my life, they'll tell people accuse me of being a MAGA guy. So you don't know who the hell I am. Stay in your fucking lane, and that's fine. Good for you. Some of the views also lower. Call what you want. And then we unfollow each other because she can't have a conversation. She's soft. I'm not gonna call her out, but she's soft. Bottom line. And again, we're just having a conversation about what's going on. I'm not attacking you. I'm not even debating you. That's the thing that got. And to me, it's a example of people today who want to be heard but don't want to hear from people. Okay, we're having a conversation. I'm not even saying you're wrong. In fact, I'm agreeing with what you're saying. I'm just giving you a little more insight about what I heard and now what's been pretty much confirmed. That yes, and again, she was wrong. That's the worst part. She's wrong. She's so in her feelings, and I followed her for a while. You guys, your post because she's kind of like in this like whole bubble now where people who are lefty and now go more to the right, whatever you want to call it, or become more, And I get why they hate the Democrats because of what they represent now and how they operate, and whatnot. And she's not wrong about that, but she's using her anger to justify logic that makes no sense when I'm having a debate with you. The facts don't change. If I'm telling you that the head of the FCC, Brandon Carr, was on a show, which is true, who also works in administration, which is true, Honor said, and he said himself that we are going to apply pressure for Disney to do something or we'll do something about it. That's proof that, in fact, that the administration applies some pressure, okay? My only issue with this is, my only issue with this situation with Kimmel, and we'll get to that later on in the show, is the fact that the government got involved. Other than that, I can give a fuck. I really can give a fuck with Jimmy Kimmel. You guys know I can't stand him. I've done segments on the show for many years on Jimmy Kimmel. I can't stand the motherfucker. I just can't. He's not funny. He's, to me, the worst late night talk show host in history of late talk shows. Again, we'll get to Kimmel later on. I got beef with him with that situation. Anyway, so people are soft and, whatever. My beef, ESPN and WWE. So the ESPN era kicked off with WWE this past weekend. WrestlePalooza was on WWE programming, and I was not able to watch it. And ESPN pretty much lied to me. They said, like, if you have ESPN already in your service, you are fine. You'll be able to watch WrestlePalooza. Apparently, that's not true. Because I have ESPN, and I wasn't able to watch it. Apparently, I had to get the app. I had to get the other app. And guess what? I'm not paying $3. I'm not doing it. They lied to me. So now I got to make a decision on going forward. As to, do I start paying for ESPN $3 extra a month, additional now, just to watch the PLEs? Because I don't need ESPN as a whole, because I get everything else already. Okay, the only thing that I'm missing is now apparently is WWE content now on the PLE, and the PLEs they're going to be putting on every month. Okay, and I'll tell you what. This is a crossroad. This could be the crossroad moment here where people start to push back now. Okay, we've been talking about this on the show. We talked about it on False Count about the fact that WWE has been making a lot of moves in the last year or so in pertaining to whether it's increased prices, whether it's moving WrestleMania from Vegas from New Orleans to Vegas for next year, and then moving the following WrestleMania in 2 years from to Saudi Arabia, basically alienating fans. You know what I'm saying? And then you have the situation now with this, and they're moving the PLEs off of Peacock, which I get. Capitalism, get it. They're going to find the best deal possible. They found it in ESPN, okay? But now that we're not going to pay more access to all of this. And here's the thing. They're not hiding it. I keep telling you guys this. You got to pay for it. If you want to watch, you got to pay for it. Bottom line. But what is your breaking point? I might be reaching that breaking point now, to be honest with you. They're not hiding it. We've heard executives say as such that they're not targeting families in the same way Vince McMahon did. We saw this on the show last week. Mark Shapiro for TKO, the head of TKO, one of the heads of TKO, said that Vince McMahon used to price shows for families only to make it more affordable. They're not doing that. And I mean, they said in so many words, they're not doing that. They're trying to maximize every dollar possible, okay, for this company. Which again, that's their right, but at the same time, I don't have to pay for it. Okay, I don't pay for it. And so what is the breaking point? Okay, now the word is that the reason why they're doing this now is, and costs are sky high, and all these moves they're making. The reason why it is this is because supposedly they're paying down debt. Because remember the merger between UFC and WWE a couple years ago, and all things they're doing, they're using the WWE now as a way to pay down debt. So basically, essentially what they're doing is they're using WWE as an ATM. Pretty much is what's happening here. They're using the WWE as an ATM. Okay. The problem is, and I'll keep saying this. The problem is TKO does not know what a true wrestling audience looks like. See, this is the difference between Vince and a corporate company like TKO. Vince, at the end of the day, for all the stuff, all the criticism we give to Vince McMahon through the years, from creative to being a scumbag human being, all this stuff, Vince McMahon was a wrestling promoter. Okay, he knows wrestling. Okay, he knows the business. He knows what the audience looks like on how much they can afford to go to shows. Okay, TKO does not. TKO does not give a shit. They're a corporate board. Okay, they're disconnected from the wrestling audience. Okay, wrestling audience, the wrestling audience is a blue collar audience, so they don't have as much discretionary cash in the same way that, say, maybe other UFC fans, I guess. Okay, and on top of that, now everything's oversaturated in WWE now. Everything. There's so many TV shows, and again, I'm okay with that because again, you're making money. But what is the breaking point? I feel like this ESPN thing, if this continues, this could be a breaking point where fans are pushing back. You might start seeing ratings go down a little lower. You might start seeing ticket sales drop. I don't know. I can't speak for every wrestling fan out there. I know what my breaking point is. I think we're approaching it now with me because I'm sorry, you guys know how frugal I am. I don't like spending money. Okay, I don't like spending money. I don't like wasting money. Okay, so now, okay, I'll give you an example. Let's say I gotta do this now. Okay, so I'll get a little inside baseball, for example. Okay, October's on the corner. Okay, so I'm already paying for NFL Red Zone, NFL Plus for Red Zone every week. So that's $14, $15 a month, as is. Which, okay, I'm okay with that because I use it. Okay, NBA around the corner, I get League Pass. League Pass last year, I imagine that's not going to change in price, $15 a month. So add that to the docket. I'm a Miami Heat fan. I don't have cable, but you can have access to the Heat games through FanDuel Sports. Okay, that costs $20 a month. So now I'm adding another $35 between the NBA, between the Miami Heat, I'm a hardcore fan of which I watch the game, so it's worth the buck. Between the Miami Heat and also League Pass. So that's $35 extra more a month I'm being paying now for this stuff. Then you want me to pay for ESPN for next month? On top of that, another $30 a month on something I don't need. I'm paying solely for the PLEs. That is it. Because I don't everything else the ESPN app gives, I don't need. I already have it. That could be my breaking point. Okay. Now, the only thing that may stop that, if the rumors are true that ESPN is bidding for the entire WWE library moving forward and shifting it to ESPN, that will get me. Because at least with that, I watch that library over and over again. And if I decide to cut Peacock, I can do so. So I can save money on the back end and save 15. Maybe I may pay a little more for the ESPN, but I offset some of the cost by cutting Peacock if I decide to do that. Which I don't know if I'll do that because there's still content there I do watch. And again, it's not that I can't afford it. I could afford it. I absolutely can afford it. But again, I don't like wasting money. Bottom line, I don't care. I'm not being cheap. I'm just being frugal. Okay? Bottom line. So, anyway, NFL Week 3 in the books. We had a great game last night. Lions and Ravens. Shocking. I guess not too shocking, but for me it was shocking. I thought Baltimore won that game. Detroit, did their job. It was a great close game through and through. Detroit did their thing. So as I've been doing for the last couple weeks, I'm going to continue doing this. I'm going to give you my top 5 takeaways for Week 3 in the NFL this past week. First thing, number 1, bro, the Chiefs are cooked in 2025. Now, let me preface in saying this: they beat the Giants on Sunday Night Football. They're 1-2. I still think they'll be a playoff team because Andy Reid, Pat Mahomes. You have that talent. You're going to get guys back. Rasheed Rice will be back soon. Receiver really should be healthy very soon. He didn't play this past Sunday. It didn't matter. I think the AFC is weak. We'll get to that in a second. The Chiefs will be a playoff team this year. I think they'll be a wild card team. Okay. I think the Chargers are the class of that division now. Okay. They're ready. The Chargers ready now. 3-0. All 3 of the wins are in that division. Okay. Including the Chiefs. Okay. So I think the Chiefs will be in the conversation, but I think the Chiefs have come way down to earth now. I don't even know if I consider the Super Bowl contender right now. I don't know if I can. I will. What I will say is this: I'll hold out hope for one thing, because of that quarterback, that coach, And when they get healthier, let's see if that will be the thing that changes things. If they're healthy, I will put them back in the conversation. Right now they're not. Right now they're not in that Super Bowl conversation right now. Okay. Right now my top three teams are Baltimore, Buffalo, and Chargers for now. Second thing. Never thought I'd be saying this right now, and again, it's only week three, so I'm not gonna overdo this here. But what I will say, currently, the NFC right now is better than AFC and deeper than AFC. So I went out with my brother and of course our own Zach Degenerate on Sunday night. Went to watch the Giants game at Flanagan's here, the local Flanagan's here, bar and grill. And we were having a conversation. My brother brought this up actually, and he made a great point. He said he goes, hot take. I go, what's up? Hot take. The NFC is better than the AFC and deeper. And I'm like, what? You can't say that. You see the history of the last couple of years, but then I thought about it. And again, we're working on a 3-game sample here. I ran down the NFC teams, ran the AFC teams. He's right. If I'm using just a 3-game sample, against only a 3-game sample, okay, and I look at the best teams in NFC, the best teams in AFC, and of the ones there, which ones do you see contending for the chance to go to the Super Bowl? And again, you guys know when I say contenders, what I'm talking about is, okay, do I see this team playing in that conference's championship game? So there's multiple in NFC. You have Philadelphia, obviously, the favorites to win the whole thing. You have Green Bay, despite the loss against Cleveland. You have Detroit, who this last 2 weeks has really stepped up since losing that Green Bay in week 1. You have the Rams. Okay. You have I'll still say the Niners, though banged up. They're still 3-0 while banged up. Okay. That's 5 teams. I'll go Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Absolutely Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Baker Mayfield has been nothing short of amazing. 6 teams. And for now, while not really impressive, but because they were in that game last year, I will go Washington Commanders. So that's 7 teams. I can see a scenario where they're playing in that conference championship game, okay? 7 teams. Let's go to the AFC. Buffalo, easy. Josh Allen and company, okay? Despite being 1-2 in that stupid-ass loss last night, still Baltimore. That's 2, okay? Go down the conference. Colts are 3-0. Not ready to put them there yet. Great story. Not ready to put them there yet. At the Chargers is my 3rd team. That's it. No other team in the conference right now I would consider. Again, I hold out hope for the Chiefs. Colts got to see more. Bengals are banged up. Steelers are not that good. There's too many wonky teams. Houston sucks now. Denver's overrated as hell. Yeah, he's right. The NFC's better right now than the AFC. But again, this is the great thing about the NFL. And when week 3, going to week 4, it's all about a puzzle. It's a puzzle. So we'll see. All right, speaking of the Colts you mentioned here, third takeaway, bro. Daniel Jones is the MVP right now. If we're using the 3-game sample right now, Daniel Jones is the MVP. Like, I would go Daniel Jones number 1. I'd probably go Baker Mayfield number 2, and Josh Allen number 3. Daniel Jones has been phenomenal. 3 games in, the Colts have punted the ball this year a total of 1 time. 1 time. Unbelievable. So again, it's sick. I saw a meme the other day that had Brian Daboll looking outside and like in a upstairs and like some I don't know what's jail we call it. And there's a picture of like 2 like things, and it has Saquon Barkley 3-0 and it has Daniel Jones 3-0 and also wrapping it out to Brian Daboll. So sick. I mean, I'm proud of the guy. I'm really proud of Daniel Jones. Obviously didn't work here. And is that a Giants problem? It might be. We'll see this again. I gotta see where the Colts though, because you're not the Bills or the Ravens, and not so because you're the new kid on the block. I'm not gonna anoint you in that conversation 3 weeks in, but with time, give me till week 8 before I start saying, oh, okay. If they're 7-1, fuck, they're 8-0, but if they're 7-1, even 6-2, by week 8, week 9, maybe I'll buy into them as a contender. But for now, no. But through 3 weeks, Daniel Jones the MVP. All right, number 4, bro. Kickers are about to get paid. paid. I was just researching the night. I was dinner with my brother and Zach. Talking about the kickers, how valuable they are to teams. And I think the highest salaried kicker in the league right now, I think, is Harrison Butker. I think he's making like somewhere in the neighborhood of like $6 or $7 million a year. A guy like Brandon Aubrey, who's not currently being paid anything for the time being, is probably gonna crack that $7 million. I can see a world right now, because of the importance of kickers now, especially. I see a world where probably next 2-3 years, where at the very least the top ranked kickers are getting paid somewhere close to $10 million a year. I can see that happening. Okay. And which will then rise the salaries of the kickers in the middle and even the bottom. Okay. Because of the importance of them. I think, again, the top third kickers are getting paid between the neighborhood of $6 to $5 million a year. That number's moving up with this increased salary cap every year, increased revenue, and the importance of kickers. You have all these big games, but then like your game is down to a kick, to a leg. Yeah, I see kickers getting paid a shit ton of money in the next closing on $10 million within the next 5 years, without question. All right, final thing, and this is actually breaking news. Jackson Dart, it's time to start from Jackson Dart. It's time to start Jackson Dart. And it's not a Russ issue. The Giants, they're just sloppy. And if Brian Daboll wants to save his job at this point now, you got to start the quarterback. And I say breaking news because just literally 3 minutes ago, they made the announcement that Brian Daboll, Russ Wilson will be getting benched, and Jackson Dart will be starting for the New York Giants this Sunday against the Chargers. It's the right move. It's nothing against Russ. It's just that where the team is now 0-3, you got to see what this kid is. It's time to evaluate him. I thought maybe they would wait 1 more week because the Chargers are a great team. Great defense too. Also, I thought maybe you wait till week 5 against the Saints, but I guess they're gonna make the move now and try to save their season. So I agree with the move. I might have waited till week five to do it, but at the same time, it's time to start. It's time to start him. So, all right, couple things to get out of here. So there's rumors now about Adele or Taylor Swift possibly playing at the Super Bowl halftime show this coming February. So here's the latest on that. As of late this month, there is a lot of speculation about who will perform at the Super Bowl 60 halftime show in February of 2026. Both Adele and Taylor Swift are among the top names being discussed, along with Miley Cyrus. Here's the latest reports. Adele, of course, has been approached about the gig. This is not the first time her name has been connected to the Super Bowl. She previously stated that she turned down the offer for the 2017 show because she felt it wasn't about the music and she couldn't dance. However, her recent public appearances and her relationship with sports agent Rich Paul, which they're not related, they're married actually, has fueled new speculation. Now, as for Taylor Swift, she's a constant subject of Super Bowl halftime show rumors, especially given her increased presence at NFL games to support her fiance Travis Kelce. NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell has even commented saying Swift is a, quote, special talent and would be welcome at any time, calling a potential performance a maybe. However, a major factor for Swift is her new album, The Life of a Showgirl, which is set to be released on October 3rd this year, and a corresponding film. In the past, she reportedly turned down offers due to her busy schedule with the Eras Tour and the re-recording of her albums. The NFL and Rock Nation, which produces the halftime show, has not made an official announcement yet. The official performer is typically announced in the fall, so a decision should be made. Should be made very soon. I think it's Adele. Adele's very talented. Taylor, talented, whatever. I'm tired of right now of rap groups. I'm tired of pop stars now. Nothing against them, obviously, but that's all we've gotten for the last 10 years now, maybe longer. I need to see a live band. You already know I'm rooting for. I want Metallica to do it. Obviously, Metallica makes more sense for me. Here's why. Number one, the game's being played in San Francisco. That's where they're from. Number two, it will actually fall on their 45-year anniversary of being a band. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, if you're going to do Metallica at any point in the career, now it's time to do it. Okay, they're still commercially relevant. But look, I get it. If you want to do Metallica, I get it. Do Green Day. Do a live band. I need someone. I need a live band for once. Okay. Again, nothing against the Ushers. Usher was amazing, and there's not a lot of pop music, but that's all we have gotten for the last 10 years now is rappers and pop stars. Okay? I'm sorry, but I feel like we have now evolved a society where, hell, have fucking Sleep Token play for crying out loud. I'm not even into them yet, but they're popular. But I mean, there's so much other artists you can do. I'm not saying not do Taylor or not do Adele, but do them next year. Like do it the next 2 years. They'll be around for a long time. Like give me a live band for once, bro. Give me a live band for once, bro. Like seriously. Anyway, all right. Final thing we got here, and we kind of touched on it earlier in the show, the whole Jimmy Kimmel thing. There is an update on that. He was suspended last week. The latest update is that the show is returning tonight on air after a week-long suspension. The suspension was initially announced as indefinite, was a result of comments Kimmel made about the death of conservative activist Charlie Kirk. The key events in the saga are, number one, Kimmel's comments. During his monologues on September 15th, hold on a second, my screen here. Sorry about that. Sorry about that, guys. His monologue on 15 and 16, Kimmel criticized what he called a MAGA gang for desperately trying to characterize the accused killer of Charlie Kirk as something other than a supporter of the movement. In terms of backlash and pressure, this led to immediate and intense backlash from conservative figures, including the FCC chairman, Brendan Carr, which, again, I just said that early in the podcast. My friend here, who didn't understand that, who called remarks truly sick and threatened regulatory action against Disney and ABC. Again, Brendan Carr, part of the government, okay? The government did get involved. Stop. Two of ABC's biggest affiliates, owners, Nexstar and Sinclair, announced they will stop airing Jimmy Kimmel's live on their stations. Under pressure from both regulators and affiliate partners, Disney-owned ABC suspended Kimmel's show indefinitely, citing ill-timed and insensitive comments. After a week of behind-the-scenes discussions, ABC announced yesterday that they will return the show on Tuesday. But now, while the show is returning, the controversy has become a broader national debate on free speech and media censorship. Hundreds of Hollywood and Broadway stars signed on an open letter from the American Civil Liberties Union defending the Kimmel's right to free speech. Some affiliates, such as St. Clair, have indicated that they will continue to air news programming in Kimmel's time slot instead of a show. Yes, that's the thing. St. Clair has announced that even though Disney is returning the show, that they will be airing everything but Jimmy Kimmel tonight and beyond, unless they get an apology and whatnot from Jimmy Kimmel and whatnot. Now, does that happen? We shall see. I don't know. Again, I don't believe what Kimmel said was wrong or out of pocket to where will warrant a suspension. At the same time, he was an idiot for even touching on it in the first place. And this is another angle people don't understand too well. So this is why I'm going to get on Jimmy Kimmel here. It's not just you losing your job. When Jimmy Kimmel loses his job, it's him and dozens upon dozens of other employees that work under him on the show lose their job as well too. So when Jimmy Kimmel decides to take action and talk about these things, he needs to understand that he's taking the weight of not just himself, but his writers and his producers and everything else in between that involved in that show. All right. But again, the government did get involved because the FCC did say as such. So again, I was right about that. And again, I don't like Jimmy Kimmel. I think he sucks. He's not funny at all. I never found him funny. The Man Show sucked. Okay, some of the things he did in the past was deplorable. Okay, but I will defend his right to free speech also too. And what happened here was the government got involved. Okay, that was my only issue with the situation. Okay, now does Kimmel issue an apology? Does Sinclair allow the show back on their airwaves? We shall see. But then this may open up another debate now about whether or not people in those Sinclair territories push back now on that, and now they give Sinclair the business now because of them restricting their TV rights and whatnot. I don't know, man. We'll see. It's a very wacky time here in society, but it is what it is. So anyway, that is it for me on this day, dated September 23rd, 2025. I am on X at EJ Christian 7. Look out for all the content come up this week. A lot of good shows coming this week, including an announcement I'll be making on this show on the Friday episode of the podcast. I'm on X at EJ Christian 7. Earnestly Pod, of course, on YouTube. on TikTok, on IG, Instagram, which I gotta update a little more often. But until the next episode, we will talk soon. God bless y'all, and see